Action Comics 963, written by Dan Jurgens, art by Patrick Zurcher. And this was a change of pace because obviously the arc ended last issue. The first one, Path to Doom. This starts the new arc, which, by the way, I liked it in the new arc because they're putting them on the cover. That it's a start of a new arc at the top. I like that. It's a nice touch. Yep. But this follows our mystery Clark Kent, who says he's Clark Kent, seems to believe that he's Clark Kent, and doesn't think he's Superman. And it follows him doing one of his cases, but it keeps like flashing back to like because the main present day stuff, he's like running through this building from security.
Yep.
And we sort of fill in why he's there as the issue goes on, and we see him almost get shot at a press conference because someone tries to prove that he's Superman by shooting him.
It's a little extreme.
It's a little bit extreme, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, if you're so fully believing that he is Superman, you're in your mind you're not doing any damage.
Yeah. He's
course,
gonna feel like such a jerk though if he's wrong.
Yeah, no, he's gonna be lying there dying. He's like, but I thought I was Superman. Oh dear.
And the special crimes unit was there. You know.
Yes, Maggie Sawyer, who appears twice this week across 2 issues.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any theories who this Clark Kent guy is?
I have no idea.
Okay,
I feel like they haven't
read
given us enough to go on.
Yeah, I read enough of New 52 Superman that they are completely retconning that arc.
Yeah.
In there, because what Clark Kent was doing before he had it outed had nothing to do with this company, Geneticon.
Yeah, I didn't know if this was something I missed from a previous story or if it's just okay.
No,
he was getting into this massive conspiracy that somehow ended with Vandal Savage, and it was a mess. And there were some high points, but there was a lot of low points also throughout there.
Was that
so I'm glad
thing where that like thing was possessing people?
Yes.
Like okay.
Yeah. So, which that was always the bag on Pack was the single arcs were fine. It's when they try to tie everything in when it became a big mess.
Yeah, I think I read the majority of Pack stuff, which I feel like I liked a lot of like the character stuff, but then some of the overall story stuff, which feels like maybe is probably editorially.
Yeah, he had a couple of good standalone stories. He had the Horrorville one, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I liked a lot.
Was it called Horrorville?
And yeah, Horrorville, because it was Smallville, but they had the know,
and the
seemed
one
like the Elder Things haunting Metropolis.
Yeah, and the one with the aliens underground as well was quite good. Like that was its own standalone.
That was right near the start, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was right.
That
after.
was his first
that
arc.
was before Doomed.
Yes, and then Horrorville was after Doomed.
So all of that took over Superman, and he got outed, and there was the Ulysses thing, and that paid off. And so none of that had to do with this. So I'm glad that Jurgens is taking time to go back and retcon and just streamline it.
Other possibility is that it isn't a retcon. This is a completely different Clark Kent, and we weren't ever following this Clark Kent in Superman.
But that means there was two Clark Kents running around, and I think that would have been pretty apparent. Like,
almost like kind of
or he has implanted memories, and he wasn't there at the time. He just thinks.
I'm just saying that the place that he is investigating is a genetic research place, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that could lead to something.
Yeah, right? So that's my main point was I took this as Jurgens going through and cleaning up and tidying up Superman because
it's almost like a smart Bizarro or something.
Oh, maybe.
I mean,
just like one with actual normal intelligence.
But he passes the lie detector test, which means he believes. And by the way, I like the little touch that Batman was the one like giving that test.
Yeah.
Well, I looked
Superman.
even before I turned the page. I go, "That's Batman." That dude looks way too much like Bruce Wayne with a mullet to not be Batman.
But no, I like this whole thing that's like, old Superman's got Batman to do this because he doesn't trust him. Which is obviously what the whole issue builds up to, because Clark gets in trouble and Superman comes and bails him out and says, "Look, we need to talk," and that's your cliffhanger. It wasn't an amazing issue, but I thought it was a nice change of pace, because the last 6 issues have all been like big fighting, big action, and this slowed things down a bit, let us explore one of the mysteries, and, good. I think it's a nice change of pace.
I really like that it wasn't so action heavy. I mean, I get that's the name of the comic, but it felt refreshing to have a break. Because I feel like at 6 issues, it's starting to get a little bit burned out on it.
Yeah.
But having just something else really helps.
I think my favourite moment of this issue might have been when it cuts to like our Clark and Lois watching him on the news, and Lois is like, "Well, he's got that." What was the word she uses?
Fumbling.
That. Sorry.
It was like fumbling.
Yeah, it was like fumbling. Yeah, it was a word like that. She got that fumbling thing you do down pat.
It's a befuddled look.
Befuddled. That was
Befuddled.
it. Yeah, it's
Right.
befuddled. I like that.
And even John's like, wow, he looks he looks like you and sounds like you, Dad. So, but yeah, it's interesting enough, and it is a nice change of pace. Because if you have just breakneck action after time,
Yeah.
it's gonna get boring because it's just the same.
I think
I also
Definitely.
Go ahead, Tim.
I'm just gonna say I was just gonna say like I definitely am intrigued by the like mystery and stuff. Like I want to see where it's going. So it's definitely did a good job of like hooking me into the story.
Yeah, no, I agree. And action's kind of one of those things where it's the nice baseline for Rebirth for me, where it's probably the weakest book that I still really like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like the threshold book.
Yeah, it's not the weakest book I'm reading, but it's the weakest book I still really like. I don't know how
Yeah,
to
it's
say
the
it like
one that like marks
Yeah.
the signifier. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like having decent Superman.
Well, obviously
you
after
do.
52.